The hot hatch segment has come and gone as far as being in vogue over the last 20 to 30 years, several times. But here in 2013, it's smoking hot once again. And today here on Rumblestrip.NET and 10-Minute Test Drive, we're going to have a look at one of the leading cars in that segment. It's the Ford Focus ST. We've been looking forward to driving this one for a little bit. When Ford announced that the Focus was going to have the ST version and bring it to America, we were really excited. Now, growing up in the era we did, and going to high school through the mid-'80s, that's really when the hot hatch segment had its first really big foray into the U.S. We had high gas prices. They'd come and gone. When I was in high school, gas prices had been as high as $1.35, $1.40 a gallon, and as low as 60 cents a gallon. But people were still looking for economy and functionality and fun to drive. Well, you were at the end of the malaise era. Horsepower was, for the V8s was pretty lacking, to be honest with you. I mean, 200 horsepower in a V8, yeah, that was a big deal. So when Volkswagen brought the GTI to America in '83 and it had 110 horsepower, it didn't sound like a lot, but when the car weighed 2,200 pounds, 2,300 pounds, well, it was a lot of fun to drive. And it introduced everyone in America really to the functionality of you could have your everyday practicality, especially in a hatchback car where it's so much more functional than a sedan. You could get good gas mileage, and it was a hoot to drive. Well, over the years, come and gone of hot hatches being in vogue, and currently here in 2013, as we said, it's in vogue again. Ford's bringing us two examples now, the Focus ST, which we're driving today, and the Fiesta ST, which we hope to be driving very soon. Of course, the GTI is still around, and Hyundai has the Veloster, which may or may not be in the segment depending on your point of view. And there's a few other examples out there as well. Some not necessarily in the US, unfortunately. To say that we look forward to this is an understatement. When we've been trying to get one of these for quite a while, and when we talked to our people at Ford and they said, yes, we can get you one, but only for about 4 or 5 days, we said, fine, I don't care. We just want to drive one. And it's that rare car that has not just lived up to expectations, but really exceeded expectations. This is all the fun that you thought it would be and more. Now, unfortunately, the couple days when we had a chance to really go out and drive it hard, the weather was crap. It's spring in Michigan, so it's 40 and snowing one day, 70 and raining the next, and then 65 and overcast the third. So, you roll the dice and you get what you get. And unfortunately, the day we could go and hoon it up a little bit just didn't work out. So we're just a couple hours away from Ford picking up the car, and here we are just trying to shoot it because we actually have some semi-decent weather. And we have got to drive it in an enthusiastic manner a few times. Again, not maybe like we'd like to, but then again, we want Ford to keep sending us cars too, and we're not like some of the other people who can afford to hack Ford off a little bit. So they'll be getting the car back in great shape. But this car is about driving. It has all the functionality of the regular Ford Focus, which we reviewed, has it been 18 months or so? We'll link to those reviews and you can take a look at them. But it has all the same functionality. It's a 5-door hatch. It's completely flexible. You can put an English Mastiff in the back there with the back seat folded down, and at least ours, Lola, she fits great. You can haul 4 people around in, I wouldn't call it comfort, but they're comfortable. Okay, this isn't a luxury car. This is a sporty car, and it has the ride of a sporty car. The first day we had it, we thought the ride might have been just a little firm, but the more we drive it, it was just an adjustment coming out of the previous car we drove, which was a little softer. The seats are Recaros, and this may be a sticking point for some people. Not that they're Recaros, but that they're a little tight. Now, for us, we fit. They're not uncomfortable, but you definitely feel wedged in. You know, and you can drive for hours and you're fine. That's not the issue. But if you're a little wider of frame, these are not going to be the seats for you. So just be forewarned. The motor in this is the 2-liter EcoBoost Turbo, and we have to say it's incredibly flexible. It has incredible torque. We are in 5th gear right now at 2,000 RPM, and we have traffic in front of us, but if we were to hit the gas, which we can do a little bit, it accelerates right away. Don't really have to wait for the turbo to spool. It just has torque on demand and it's ready to go. So it's not some peaky thing, although it does have good power, but you do feel it begin to sign off a little as you cross 6,000 RPM. But in day-to-day driving, point and shoot, squirting in and out of city traffic, getting on the highway, it's just great. The exhaust note, it's got that nice fruitiness to it. There's the sound tube that comes into the cabin, and you get to about 3,000 RPM and you dip into the throttle just a little bit. Let's see if we can come down here into 2nd gear. Yep, 3rd gear. So we're just under 3,000 RPM. And you can just do that all day. You just that, boom, it's great, it's fabulous. Bring us more. Now, the interior is pretty much standard Ford Focus interior. The materials are good. You know, the materials they use throughout here in this $28,000 Ford Focus, especially like the dash materials, those are the same dash materials that you get in a $47,000 Ford Explorer. So, you know, you're getting better quality materials in here. The nice fit and finish, nice soft touch. It's just a nice place to be. They've done a really good job. The Ford Focus is more expensive in the segment than some of its other competitors. But as soon as you get into it, you see where some of that cost is by the use of materials, by the level of content in here. And we have the My Ford Touch in here. Haven't had a bit of a problem with it. It's been, you know, trouble-free. So 99% of the time, you know, the My Ford Touch isn't an issue, but of course you're always going to hear about the 1% of the time where it is. So here's the question. Given the price point, you know, $28,000, is this good value? Would you buy it? And given the price point of, say, a V6 Mustang, would you pick the Focus over a V6 Mustang? And that's a really, really, really good question. And one that, in some ways, we wrestle with ourselves. Love the Mustang. Really do. We've owned 3. Considering buying a 4th. But in day-to-day functionality, especially against the V6, this may not be as quick. It handles better. The ride's similar. The fuel economy is about the same. But the flexibility of what we can do with this car as far as comfortably taking 4 people, putting a dog in it, or maybe putting 2 dogs very, very soon in the future here, it's just a better fit in some ways. Now, would I choose this over a Ford Mustang GT? No. this could be a better daily driver car than a Ford Mustang GT for those same reasons we mentioned as far as flexibility. That's a call you'll have to make on your own. Then again, you want a Mustang GT, you're going to be spending significantly more money than this. You know, for a GT, you're going to be spending upwards of $32,000 to $34,000. So you make the choice. But has Ford knocked it out of the park with this Ford Focus ST? The answer to that is, oh yeah. If you drive one of these cars and you don't like it, you're not a gearhead.